Mic was off till now. It's okay, dude. No problems. Anyway, so when you talk about accessibility, you are basically talking about blind and whatever deaf people and whatnot to be able to read their stuff, right? So when they talk about accessibility, and accessibility is quite a big topic. If you just look for accessibility on the web, okay, you see it is an important thing if there are companies who are putting ads for that term, right? This is an ad, free accessibility checker.
Yeah.
This is an ad, make your Wix website accessible, right? So that is how important this topic is, right? So when you talk about accessibility, accessibility is the practice of making your website usable by as many people as possible. We traditionally think of this as being people with disabilities, but the practice of making sites accessible also benefits other groups, such as those that are using mobile devices or those with slow network connections. Do you remember those old phones before 3G and 4G when you used to have 2G?
Yeah.
Like even if you would try to load, say for example, Google's website, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the image wouldn't come, and then you would have like one square with image not found. Do you remember this?
Yeah, of course. It will take you like time to load or load.
Yeah, you remember this?
Yeah.
That used to come.
To load an image.
Yeah, but below this it will show Google logo or something.
That's true.
Right? So that is essentially what happens. So that is the image, that is the image caption or image alt attribute or whatnot, right? So when a blind person opens, obviously the image doesn't load, but they can read what the image is about. Okay, so obviously we have covered all of this stuff, but I'm just refreshing stuff so that you can begin to interrelate different topics and stuff like that. Okay, fine. So to improve accessibility of this image that you just added, you have to add the alt attribute, that is alternate text.
Yeah.
Okay, with this text.
Can you check mine first?
Yeah. Yeah. You just be writing, I'll just shift. Yep.
So 5 cats looking around field.
Yep.
Control C. Control V. That's okay?
Yep. All good.
Awesome.
I think we're close to this one, so we have a minute, so let us see what this is and then we'll stop after this one.
Yeah. 30.
Okay. So step 30, we are outside the figure, we have an image in front of us. Okay.
Yeah.
After the last image element, add a fig caption, that is the figure caption thing that comes with the text "cats hate other cats" with a full stop.
Can you go to mine?
Yeah, just a minute. You be writing, I'm coming.
Do it like this.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, I have to put.
Yep.
Cats.
And a full stop was there side. Just add the full stop. Okay. So on the right side, you can scroll down and you can see here, right, at this part. This is the new thing with cats hate other cats. So this is like a live reload, right? So you go here and you just change your cats hate other cats to something else. Just add like a full stop or anything.
That's dogs.
Yeah. We'll start that in a bit. Right? And you scroll down here on the right.
Yeah.
So it's like a live reload that we did on VS Code, right?
So whatever you apply on the console,
left side will come on the right side. It'll reload there quickly.
In real time, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
No problem, just the best. Yeah.
And also shift to the next one, and then we can take a break.
Yeah.
Come here, start this. We can put this part up because this is sort of like a normal query, right, that people have. So technically you have to understand that when you talk about JavaScript or Java, like you have different versions, let us say, of Java, right?
JavaScript, yeah.
Java or any language.
Any language.
Right? There is Python 2, there is Python 3, and new version comes out, etc., etc. Like that, obviously HTML and CSS also have had their versions before. Okay. So HTML, CSS, and like JavaScript, there must be someone who sets the rules.
Yeah.
Correct. And those rules everybody should agree, and Firefox, Chrome, Edge, everybody should work. The website, the tag should work in all browsers or whatnot, right? And obviously every company has their own interests in getting some feature added or removed from the language specification.
Sure.
Okay. So the body which defines HTML types is, let us say, HTML versions.
So what HTML5 means you have HTML4, 3, 2, 1. or no?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we can look for HTML versions. Okay, see, these are the different statuses. Version 1 was introduced where in each one of these things something new gets added or something old support gets removed or something like that. Okay, very basic version of HTML which had text and like images. Very basic version did not support a ton of stuff. So for example, maybe here tables is not supported. See, initial version of HTML does not support tables, no fonts, all of that, right? Then HTML2, what did this add? Tables became an HTML tag. HTML2 tags became whatever. You could add tables in HTML2 was added, right? HTML3 developed in 1997. Okay, dude. Yeah, so anyway, so there are different versions, HTML4, and right now the latest one is HTML5, right? So in HTML4, whatever, you had bold and whatnot, and you were seeing, right? The latest, this one does not allow for thing. So like, see, HTML5 added email tag, password as a tag. Right now, when you type a password, character doesn't come, right? A dot or a star comes. Now that is a default thing built into HTML. So before HTML5, I don't know when HTML5 was released. Imagine you have to actually write your own custom tag to hide everything you are typing in. Right? Like that, HTML has its version, and CSS also has whatever its versions. CSS 3, I think, was launched in 2015. CSS 3 was in 2015, so it's a very recent thing compared to, we are just in 22, right? So before that you had CSS 1 and 2, and this introduced like cards and grids and a lot of stuff that
added,
these are all the changes, like color changes and whatever. If you go through this article, you will find what are the different changes, but particularly all you just need to know is what works right now, right? So we'll stress about this later
on. No.
Okay, so you'll start paying attention to this kind of stuff if you are, let us say, developing an application for let us say old bank. Like if this is a banking app, it has to work in a bunch of systems, right? It has to work on old computers, new computers, etc., right? So if you are in something legacy like that which requires a lot of support, you have to write code so that it gets supported on older browsers, right? Or sometimes you will say, no, hey, this website does not work in this version of Chrome, please update your Chrome. Like that, you'll get a message, right? That is maybe because it uses something that is not supported in that older version. Okay, fine. Anyway, so we will start this step 31, correct? Okay, mic is unmuted. Mic is unmuted. Okay, the strong element is used to indicate that some text is of strong importance or urgent. In the fic caption that you just added, indicate that hate is of strong importance by wrapping it in a strong element. Remember here when we put this emphasis EM, it became like italic. Now we need to make it strong.
For only hate,
For hate. You want to go through? No. We have to write the strong element. You wrote EM, right? Strong.
Like this?
Yep.
Check your code is Control Enter.
Works?
It's mentioned that check your code. Just you have to press Control Enter.
Yeah, it worked, no, for you?
Yeah.
Fine. I think again you are like, I think you might have to reload your page again. Yeah, click check your code.
No, I already did this step 32.
Yeah, but it should go to the next one, no?
It's already in the second one.
Oh, 32.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So now they're given a bunch of text, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We have section, headings. Where does this start? Cat lists. We start here. This is all we have access to.
Yeah.
Cat list, this list, photo, and this thing. Okay, fine. It's time to add a new section. Add a third section element below the second section element. Okay. So this was the first section from here to here, and this is the second, right? So below this, we add a new section. All good?
Yeah.
Check it. Okay. Step 33. Now we just have access to the new section. Everything else is above.
Yeah.
Okay. Inside the third section element, add an h2 element with the text cat form. h2 element. h2 slash h2.
Cat form, yeah.
Yeah. Capital F, I think.
Sorry?
Capital F. Yep.
Yeah.
Done.
Step 34.
Okay, 34. Now we just have the h2. Okay. Now you will add a web form to collect the information from users. After the cat form heading, add a form element. So a form element. Now before we get started, right? HTML form elements. Like how you had figure and fig caption inside it, right?
Yeah.
Fig caption just works inside figure.
Figure,
right?
yeah.
Like that, if you have a form, right? This is just a typical form for you, right? This is your form, and this is your first name, last name, whatever. Let's just make this smaller. No. This is just a form, right?
Yeah.
Enter your first name, enter your email, and then whatever, click, have a button. Correct? So this has a form where you have action and method and stuff like that. We'll talk about it in some time. But all of this content that you see, label and input, right? All of this stuff, this is where the form starts. Okay, this is where the form ends, and there is this thing, subscribe button, where you have input type equals submit. Okay, so all the content that is inside the opening of the form and the closing of the form, when anyone clicks an element that has type submit, right, that time all of this content inside the label and what the text you enter,
yeah,
will be packaged and sent. That is how you capture the data. Okay,
yeah.
So what you have to understand is, if for example this is what it is, right? If I say take this, let's just take this label input, let us take name and email outside. Okay, if I come here and if I paste this outside, okay, what do you see? You see this whole form with a button,
yeah,
whose type is submit.
Sure.
Okay, and then you see this pieces of text,
yeah,
outside. So if I type A, B, C and D, and if I click submit, only the stuff inside the form will be captured and sent. You understand?
Okay.
So the form is like a box or a container. It's an opening tag and a closing tag, and it has stuff inside. Okay,
it, yeah.
So a form will capture stuff, and when you submit the form, the data is sent, and inside the form you can have different types of input elements and a bunch of different stuff. Anything that you basically put inside a form goes inside, right? But only if it is inside the form it gets submitted.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is form. So after h2, what do we have to do? We have to do a form, right? Are you done with yours?
After the cat
Yeah,
form.
after that you have to put a form element.
Okay, so I have to go. Yeah, done.
Submitted.
Yeah.
All right.
55.
Okay. The action attribute. Remember this form which we submitted, there was this, I told you we'll talk about action and method and stuff like that, right? Later.
Yeah.
So here you just have you have taken the name and you have taken the address and you have clicked the button.
Yeah.
Right? Your data is here on the browser, on this edge, on my computer, the data is right now.
Yeah.
It has to be sent somewhere, right? We basically have to tell the browser, hey, whenever somebody enters this information, please send it to this place.
Okay.
Or do this.
Do something, yeah.
Right? So that do this is what you will specify with the other attributes inside. like how image and all has attributes, there are different attributes, right? Action and method is what has been used here. Let's see how we get introduced to this. Okay, the action attribute indicates where the form data should be sent. For example, form action equal to /submit URL. That tells the browser that the form data should be sent to the path /submit -URL. Okay, so we basically tell whenever the person clicks submit, take all the data and send it to this place, send it to this address.
The action, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now we need to add an action button, action equal to, and this is the URL. Copy this, paste this here. Okay,
like this?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. So your form has an opening, it has a closing, and it has an alt attribute inside. Okay,
Yeah.
you can go to the next one.
What is this sound?
It is the town hall bell.
Ah, okay, okay.
It's 11 p.m. no?
I thought it's from your computer.
No. Anyway, step 36.
Yeah.
The input element allows you several ways to collect data from a web form. Like image elements, input elements are self-closing and do not need closing tags. The input element
The input elements, yeah.
does not need a closing input.
Closing tag,
Okay. Nest an input element inside the form element. So they want.
Let me do it.
Yep.
And check me, yeah. Nest the input element in the form. So first, I have to go here.
Yeah.
It's self-closing, right?
Yeah, but just give the tab there. Just do the cleanup as soon as you start writing, right? Yeah.
So what do you call it? Input.
Yeah.
Input. That's it.
Yeah, and it's self-closing.
Like this.
Yeah.
Submit. Yeah. Oh, okay.
INPUT.
But until now, you didn't tell me what is like the element, what is the attribute, what is the 3 or 4 things.
So
You didn't tell me.
look
about
at this part.
Yeah.
We'll actually come down here. Anything that comes like this is a tag. It's a HTML element.
HTML. Yeah.
Okay. Anything that has a opening and closing or self-closing is an element.
Element.
Okay. So officially there are lots of elements. Okay. This is the reference and this is last updated on 3rd April 2022. Right. So you're starting from here.
Yeah.
And let me just zoom this out a little. And if we scroll, how many elements are there? Ton of them.
Yeah. It's only for one.
Yeah, this is text content, everything related to text, everything related to inline stuff,
So
images.
Hundreds are there, or
Yeah.
thousands maybe.
Yeah, so in this one is image.
Yeah.
Like how we have image, we have map.
So that image, is it an element or it's attribute or
It's an element.
or anything
Okay.
between
An element which has this stuff.
class?
Image is the element or image is the tag. Tag or element. HTML tag or HTML element is the same.
It's same thing.
Okay.
Okay.
So the element has its properties or attributes.
Properties.
The word
same.
attribute is properties.
Okay.
Attribute meaning regarding something.
Yeah.
Okay, or a quality or feature or
Yeah.
characteristic or inherent part of something, right? Or a piece of information that determines the property.
Yeah.
In computing, this is particularly to computing, right? An attribute is a piece of information that determines the properties of a field or tag in a database or a string of this one. So understand it like this. If I come here, Control Shift C, you see this blue heading.
Yeah.
Okay. If you come here and look at this, you see this. Now let us say, for example, we come down to A, anchor tag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anchor tag.
This tag, the way this looks, it looks blue, it looks bold, it looks whatever, right? If you look at over here, you see this color here.
Yeah.
Okay, if I change this color, what color do you like? You like red?
Red, yeah, for example.
Okay, let us make it red. Okay,
It's already changed.
it's changed here and it's changed to everything on the page
Oh,
because everything was using the same style.
I understand. Yeah.
Okay, so if text decoration is none, what is this? RGB, this is probably transparency, right? White, let us say 0.9. what does it do? I don't know. Anyway, whenever you change the property, it will change. Okay. Now if you pick up something like this green, right? You see where this green and this green are similar.
Yeah.
The word is used. So if I go here, this is using some style. Okay, we'll search for where is the green. Where's the green at? I can't see the green. This is the green, right? So if I come here and if I change this to what? Pink. Right? Everywhere where it was using that green or that property. Right? So this thing is, let us say, the tag or whatnot, right?
Or
The collection of those attributes that you are putting defines how it is, right? For example, if you look at the image, this image has a class, it has a source, it has an alternative text, right?
Yeah.
So the combination of this is what decides what the image looks like. So this is the element, or this is the tag, and these are the properties. So the default properties, when you change the values, obviously it has default values and it has changeable values.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on what you set, it basically renders that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Awesome.
you know what elements or tags are. You know what properties are, properties or attributes are. Then we will talk about classes and IDs and how things are applicable to them when we reach that part in CSS.
No.
Okay. Right now we are only talking about the HTML part as well as only the HTML part is what we are talking about, right?
Okay.
So this is how the image looks. So yeah. Okay, you clear about that? Anytime you have a doubt, you just ask. Okay.
No problem.
Now say you have this white text, right?
Yeah.
Text, right? So if I choose this, where is the white text? This, right? So if I come here, if I make this blue, that text there changes, and that same class or that same property is used by other pieces of text. So all of them are blue.
Yeah.
Okay. So HTML has a bunch of elements. Total HTML tags. How many of them are there? How many tags are there? There are 142 or 132 HTML tags. Okay. For HTML as well as CSS, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know whether it can be done or not done. You figure out your way.
Okay.
Right? You only need to understand some stuff, right? So anyway, we were here. Has this been reloaded or what? Where are we at in terms? We have 10 more minutes, yeah, Syed?
37, yeah.
37.
Yeah.
Okay. Submit and go. They have given us all of this text on the top.
Yeah.
Now we only have the input tag. Okay. There are many kinds of input tags you can create using the type attribute. Okay. So input is the tag or the element, and type is the attribute or property that decides what it should accept. Okay. You can easily create a password field, a reset button, or a control to let users select a file from their computer. Create a text field to get the text input from the user by adding the type attribute with the value text to the input element. So just before we do this, input element types. If you just get the list, right? These are all the types that you can have: button, checkbox, color, date, time, email, right? So these are all the things, obviously. So if you put type equals email, and sometimes you try submitting something without @ and .com, it will, hey, please enter an email, right? So that is automatically done by the browser. Okay. So if you have a look at these see, this obviously you know what a radio button looks like, right? This is checkbox. This is a button, type equals button, type equals color. So these are all interesting things. So if you put type equals color and you come here, you can select this color.
This color. Oh, I see.
Okay. And type equals date. Obviously you've used it a ton of times. This, right? Date, time.
Okay.
So literally for input, type equal to, you put whatever this one is, it will come up. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do? We need to make a type equals text. Input. My PC is stuck again, bro. Yeah. Okay. All good?
Yeah.
You are done?
Yeah.
Fine. You can go to the next one.
38.
Okay, so we just have the input tag and we're inside the form, inside the section and the form. Okay, in order for a form's data to be accessed by the location specified in the action attribute, you must give the text field a name attribute
And
assign it a value. Assign it a value to represent the data being submitted. For example, you could use the following syntax for an email address and text field. Input type equals text, name equals email. Add the name attribute with the value cat photo URL to your text field. Add a name attribute. Okay, fine. Name equal to URL. Okay. So are you understanding what is happening here?
Not yet, to be honest.
Okay. Oh, sorry. This is not where we have to go. So now if you go to HTML form, you enter this, right? If, for example, I say Syed B2M, okay? If I do submit, okay, if you click the submit button, form data will be sent to a page called /action-page.php. Okay, whatever it is, this basically you need to send first name and last name as something, right? Just because first name is displayed here, obviously maybe I want to call the variable something else, right? So that is denoted by, see this here, name. Anything that I put in this input thing, okay, here you see value equals John, right? That is the default value. Right now, when I changed it to Syed, right now it is value equals Syed. Okay, and it will send the variable name as this, what you give name. Okay. So when I click submit, it will say f name equal to Syed and L name equal to B2M. And that data, what you specify by names, is the one that gets submitted to the place where you say action. Okay, take this piece of data, call it this name, okay, and then take all of these pieces of data with their names and send it to this action. The action should be done at that place. You get it? So now if I do this submit, what happens? See, this is what it gets. This is the data that you submitted. F name equals Syed and L name equals B2M. And this is the data that action_page will get. Okay, so that is the name you're trying to put in here. Okay, so now when we say name equals cat photo URL and this is text, right? So here anything I press like this and if I do send, it will say cat photo URL equal to this. Like how it said, instead of this you will have cat photo URL. Cat photo URL equal to whatever was typed here. Okay, so we can just remove this. We apparently have 5 minutes on this. Okay, check code, all works. Are you done with yours? Yeah, I think you're done.
Control enter.
Your input element does not have a placeholder attribute. What was the placeholder? I also don't have placeholder, dude.
Is it 39 or 38? 39.
Oh, you're on 39. Sorry, I'm still on 38. Okay. This was 38, right? Yeah, fine. Okay, so a placeholder, here they're talking about step 39, right? Placeholder text is used to give people a hint of what type of information to enter into an input. For example, input type equals text, placeholder equals email address. Okay, so a placeholder again is, you see over here, you see this form here, right? So this one says John, right? So value is the value of this one. A placeholder equal to, if I say placeholder equal to John, you see how this is light text? If I type anything, that basically disappears, right? So this is just suggestion. So sometimes you go to this one, no?
Enter your first name,
right? But that value is not there. This is just a hint. So it is a placeholder if there is no text over there. Okay, so it's like guiding text. Okay, so we need to put placeholder equal to photo URL. Check your code. Is yours okay?
Yeah.
Done. Next. So now actually if you scroll down here and see, you see this
Sure.
text, right?
Text in there.
Placeholder. Okay.
Yeah.
Step 40. To prevent a user from submitting your form when required information is missing. You know the error message that you get. Hey,
Yeah.
you have missed your first name missing or this missing, something like that. That time you add the text required. You add the attribute required. Okay.
Yeah.
So see, just to make sense of, before we finish reading that, now I'll come here. Look at this stuff. Now you see name equals fname and it is empty, no?
Yeah.
There's nothing here. And let us say we put B2M. And if I submit this, it will probably go to that page and it'll say fname equal to nothing.
So nothing.
And lname equals B2M. Okay. Submit this. Fname equals nothing.
Yeah.
And lname equals whatever was the value that was put.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, if I say, what I'm basically saying is required. I can only put required, just that one word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if I try submitting this, it won't submit. Shit. It did submit.
You have to run.
Oh yeah, I have to run, right? Oh, sorry. Required. Okay. And here I remove this. And if I try submitting, it won't submit. It did, but ideally it should not submit. Probably in this thing what they're doing, the property is not working. But if you try doing it on a browser, it will not submit.
But you didn't run the system.
Run.
Okay.
Run. Remove this. Do. Submit. Sorry. Okay. So if you put required, then it won't submit.
Until you fill that gap.
So technically, this is like when you look at only required being over here, no?
Yeah.
So like how you have name equals, it can have any text value, right? Yeah. Type can be any type of value. ID can be any type of value, right?
Yeah.
Like that, required only accepts binary. Required equals true. That is what it is. Okay, if you put the word required, basically you are telling required equal to true.
Sure.
If you don't put required, you are basically telling required equal to false. So now if you again do run, remove John, do submit, it does not work, right? The same thing if I do false. Although I have required the property mentioned, but I'm saying its value is false. Remove this, come to do, submit, run. We'll come back here. Required equal to false, run, remove John, put here, submit. I don't know, ideally it should work. Okay. Anyway, we'll just put this and then we take our break. Yeah. Okay. And for this we have to put, where were we? You need to add the required attribute to an input element. There's no need to set a value to the required attribute. Instead, just add the word required to the input element, making sure there is space between it and other attributes. So we just put required. Okay. So now you can't submit this. Obviously, check your code. It works. Done.
Mine is.
So we go here.
Okay. So
yours is not working?
Yeah, actually I make a mistake.
Outside.
Outside.
Okay. Check your code.
Yeah. Awesome.
Done. Okay. We can start a break. Change to desktop only. How do I unmute this?
Or what is the role of JavaScript?
JavaScript, like I was telling you, it is like
Functions.
yeah, the functionality of it. So again, we will see in the context of freeCodeCamp how they're introducing JavaScript to you and whatnot. Okay. So this is your first section.
Yeah.
And this is the first project where you build a form here. Okay. Then the next part starts where you will learn CSS, more properties about CSS. Okay. In this, let's see what they teach. Let us see what you're building. This is what you will build at the end of it. Okay. It's just a box with other box with a background color. It's just boxes, but you see how each shape, this one has like a bend and whatnot. So you're just learning the basics of shaping and spacing and how to manage space. Okay. So you learn about this spacing. Again, you start with nothing. You start with empty first line. And if you go down, let us say in the middle, this is 45, right? So around 22, let us say. At 22, what have you built? At 22, you just build these boxes. Okay. And by the time you reach 45, you build these boxes with whatever spacing. You will learn the importance of spacing and things like that, right? How do you space elements? How do you move them away or closer together? That is all CSS part. Okay.
No.
Then in the next section, you will build a photo gallery. Okay. So we will see at this. This is what you will build. This.
Oh, that should be
okay. So all these photos with these round. Remember in the previous one, you learned how to put the boxes next to each other and how to make this angled.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're putting all of that together. Okay. So at start, at 5, what do you have? You literally just have like a heading. You probably have to make some change. At 7. Now you have photos, big photos here.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time you come to 14, those photos are now little smaller, squished, but they are not in proportion. By the time you reach 21, you make the whole thing look proper. You make that and you make that title. Okay. So this is one section. Now typography. Okay. This is a long one. We'll just see what is the final project. You're building this different types of fonts and thicknesses.
Yeah.
Right. And lines. Okay. So remember over here, you learned how to make like a card stuff. And here you're making like different types of fonts. This is what your project for this section is. Build an app that is similar to this. You should build this from scratch. Okay. So remember over here, now you have put an image, you have put figure caption. Now you know how to deal with figure, right?
Yeah.
These are the different types of texts that have come. Okay. And again, this is what our background color and stuff like that. So you still haven't touched CSS. You're still on this one. So next section, you learn a bunch of different selectors, and this is what you have to build. Again, similar to this. Again, you start with this. You start with empty, nothing.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you these are your requirements. These are your stories. Okay. So it will basically tell you should be able to see a main element. It should have an ID. This inside that you should have a section. A section should have class of this.
Yeah.
And main section. So this is like your guiding points, right? But you start again with 0. You finish everything. Basically, this you will build on VS Code, then copy paste it here, right? And these are the tests that they are carrying out. Okay. And what you have to build in this is what? Technical documentation, right? You start with that and you build this.
Build this one. That's exactly what I want.
Okay. This is one project. Then product landing page. Again, you start with line 0.
Yeah.
And you build this.
That's awesome, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Personal portfolio for the responsive web stuff. Where this is where the HTML CSS ends.
Yeah.
Okay. After this, the CSS will start. So the final thing that you make at the end of JavaScript starts. So the final thing at the end of this is you make your own personal portfolio. This is what you design.
Okay.
Hi, you probably put hi. I am Syed. I am whatever web developer types. You come here. These are the projects that you made, right?
Yeah.
Calculator, this website, and whatever tic-tac-toe, whatnot, right? And these are all your links. So you build your own homepage for your own personal portfolio as the last thing. Okay, so we will now, instead of running around to different places, our eyes are to make this much part happen first.
Yeah.
Then we'll think of JavaScript, how it plugs in, how all of them work together. Okay,
No.
right now we are just focusing on the structure. Done. So this is this. You go to syllabus. After you finish this responsive stuff, so their estimate is 300 hours. But obviously we are trying to do it much faster, right?
Yeah.
We are trying to probably do this in less than 40 hours.
Yeah.
In less than 20 days, you should be able to finish this whole section.
Okay.
Okay. Then after that, you start the JavaScript part, right? Here we will spend a lot of time with JavaScript. Okay.
Because we need to. Is it from beginner till like
It is like how we did HTML, right?
Yeah.
Like that, like literally baby steps. It will start, even the JavaScript part, right?
Okay, it will take you till like professional
Not particularly, but it will give you a good foundation.
Okay.
Right? So again, we do a lot of JavaScript over here. Then we come to modern JavaScript
What is
and stuff.
ES6?
You were asking about what is HTML5 and what is HTML CSS3 and what are those numbers, right? Like that, JavaScript also has a specification which is governed by a body called ECMA. Okay, so ECMA is this. ECMA International is a non-profit standard organ. Like say,
non-profit.
Yeah, so in your whole building stuff, you have ISO certification, right?
Yeah.
What is ISO certification? What does it mean when a company says it is ISO certified?
It's something like quality is good.
Yeah, it meets basically there is a set of there is a list of requirements, right? Standards, and you just tick mark each one of them until everything is tick marked. You say this is ISO 9000 compliant.
So if you go there in Google,
so take that concept that everything is a list of requirements. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are governed by bodies which say that if you are a browser, you have to support HTML5, and these are the requirements. Okay. So when we talk about JavaScript, you look at this. The whole rules of JavaScript is this. You see this ECMA script, activities, published standards. Okay. This is June 2021 specification, the latest 262, whatever. Let us say this is the specification. Okay. So in this, all they basically say is, now let us say, for example, I go to Ctrl+Shift+J. Let us say I'll clear this. Okay. Let us say let A equal to 10. Okay. Let B equal to 20. Okay. Let C equal to A plus B.
30.
Okay. And if I say what is A? 10. What is B? 20. What is C? 30. Okay.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to you.
That's
right? But the company, we are talking about Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Google Chrome should be able to get this sentence. Let us say it gets the word let, it gets A, it lets equal to, and it gets some value here. It has to make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
So what ECMA script says is, if you come across this, you take this value and store it somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you come across something like this, C equals A plus B, check whether it meets all the rules of the language, and then take the contents of this stuff, what is there in A plus B, and put it into C. That is what ECMA script says. Right? Like that HTML standard also says, if you have head, you do this. If you have image, you do this, etc. etc. Okay. Now the company, Google Chrome, obviously people say, no, Chrome is faster than
Mozilla Firefox.
Whatever, Firefox or Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is so slow, you tell, right?
That's true.
So not all browsers are the same. Chrome is faster than this is faster than that, and Chrome is built by a company. Safari is built by Apple. Chrome is built by Google. Firefox is built by Firefox organization, whatnot. Opera browser is built by Opera. So everybody gets just this rule set. That if you get C equals A plus B, this is the expected output, and they will implement it however they want. Okay. So if you look at this, let us say I'll build a view in HTML and download this standard. I don't know how big this is. So you see 879 pages. Okay. So if you just open, let us say Control F, let space. So you say let and const declarations. Okay, so if I go to let, can you please show me where is let? Okay, so this is the specification. This is what all companies get. Right? So like how you get ISO standard certification, you build a project however you want.
Yeah.
It has to do this. That's it. So for let and const, it basically tells that if you have let or const, if these are the two words that you have, whatever, these are the rules. Lexical binding, I don't know what any of this stuff means. I don't understand it. But basically everybody gets this stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Semantic, how to evaluate it, how to detect errors, what is whatever, lexical binding, I don't know what any of this stuff is, but this is what everybody gets. This is a variable statement. If you get var, you do this. Okay, let us say for example, I do control F, we'll search for plus. There are so many things. Okay, see here, additive expression plus multiplicative expression, right? Whatever. So obviously the whole, we'll go to control home. Okay, close this, control F plus this. So you have unary operator 13.5.4. So they say if you get whatever unary, let expression be the result of the evaluated unary expression. Return this or this unary operator. If unary dash operator convert its operand to number type and then negate it. Negate plus 0f and produce minus 0f. Negate minus 0f and produce plus 0f. This is the rule. This is what everybody gets. Now you can implement it however you want. Okay. So if you look at browser engines, there are different types of engines. You see these engines, let us say JavaScript engines. In browsers, JavaScript browser engines. Example. So obviously the company writes its own code, right?
Yeah.
So like that, if you look at the way Chrome builds its JavaScript engine, everybody will probably write it in C, C++ or whatever, some stuff like that. Okay. Why is this stuck? Okay, so see, Chrome runs a JavaScript engine called V8. Edge runs a JavaScript engine called Chakra.
Yeah.
Mozilla Firefox has something called SpiderMonkey, and Safari has JavaScript core WebKit. Okay, so each engine, see, this is V8 of Chrome. It is developed by Chromium project for Google Chrome and Chromium web browsers. It is embedded into any C++ application, blah blah blah, right? So this is how they are sort of dealing with the source code. Source code goes to parser, goes to blah 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 blah, something. Okay, and this is SpiderMonkey. This is how they deal with it. Source, compiler, bytecode interpreter, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody implements it in a different way. Okay, so it's just that however it works in one place, that's not how it works in every other place. Okay, so anyway, I think that's a good bit of
we did, yeah,
stuff
2 months, yeah,
covered today.
Tomorrow, if I come early, we'll do 3 or 4, yeah?